All right, little live edition here. Not going to be a very long one, I wouldn't imagine, but little breaking news in the SEC. Thought this warranted a little emergency podcast, but if you missed the news, and I don't know how you have at this point, but Texas A&M starting quarterback Connor Weigman out for the season after that injury he sustained against Auburn. Apparently, they thought it was a sprain. Jimbo yesterday thought day-to-day for Connor Weigman, but apparently he has broken a bone in his foot. I believe this was first reported by Brent Zwerneman, Houston Chronicle, and later confirmed Billy Lucci, Tex Ags. We're going to have David Nuno from Tex Ags on the show. It's not going to be a live show, but it'll be on the Thursday show, so a little bit deeper dive on what this means for Connor Weigman. But I just want to hop on here, get my thoughts on it real quick because, man, we were all aboard the Connor Weigman hype train, and I thought he had delivered. Even in that loss to Miami, that wasn't on Weigman. That wasn't on the offense. That was all the defense. So going into this crucial Arkansas game now, Arkansas knows which quarterback they're going to have to prepare for, and, of course, it's Max Johnson. Credit Jimbo and Bobby Petrino for getting Max Johnson ready to play in that Auburn game. He was the spark they needed. So, I mean, who knows? Maybe the offense even better with Max Johnson. I mean, I think that kind of discredits everything Connor Weigman's done. So I'm not going to go that far. But Max Johnson, arguably the best backup in the SEC. I think Garrett Nussmeier you can make a case for, but Max Johnson, much more experienced, much more accomplished in the SEC at his time at LSU and even at A&M last year when the offense was awful. He was the one that beat Arkansas. So I don't think this hurts A&M for this Arkansas game. I really don't, considering how Max played last week. The fact that he's won this game before, he's played in this stadium before, doesn't derail anything for this week. But it may lower the expectation for the Aggies for what they could do. You know, I was still thinking maybe even college football playoff. Again, this doesn't cripple those hopes because all Max Johnson's ever done is he doesn't do it pretty necessarily, but he gets the job done. And he did that at LSU. He's done it at A&M. So I'm not worried about A&M in that regard. But again, I'm just a little worried. Can he go on the road and beat LSU? Can he beat Alabama? We'll find out. Tennessee at Tennessee could be a high-scoring game. He's going to be tested. We're going to find out real quick, you know, how good Max Johnson is in this Bobby Petrino offense. But, hell, he looked great against Auburn, so we got to give him credit for that. But I'm curious to hear what let's see what Kyle says. I'm looking for Max to keep it going. Yeah. I mean, I think that's fair. He's not shown anything that he won't. This guy doesn't have a name, just a bunch of numbers. Does this help Jimbo by making an excuse? This ain't even me saying it. This is other people jumping on Jimbo. I'm not jumping on Jimbo after an injury. Not looking good. I think he's talking about me. I wonder if Jimbo did know and didn't want to say. Possibly. Why give your opponent anything? I mean, I wouldn't. But the way I just heard Billy Lucci say it, I think this came after further evaluation. So I don't think Jimbo was playing coy, but hey, this is gamesmanship. A lot on the line. People don't care. People don't care if you lie, cheat, steal. They care about if you win on Saturday. And he may have helped them a little bit. The Barn says, I feel like A&M, worse luck. Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. I know they were all aboard the Haynes King hype train. He got hurt. Who else? I'm trying. Zach Calzada, which I know they were not huge fans of at all times down there in College Station, but go back and watch that game. They beat Alabama. Zach Calzada was a damn warrior. They're lucky he finished that game. He was tough as hell. Kyle Allen, Kyler Murray, those guys have gotten hurt. Kenny Hill, he's got hurt. Yeah, A&M's had some horrible, horrible luck when it comes to keeping quarterbacks healthy. But I'm curious. We got Kyle on here. Wonder if he thinks Texas A&M can they still win the West with Max Johnson? I'm not saying they can't. They may very well could. I think it's more about the defense. The defense has got to be even better now, I think. Bobby Petrino's a quarterback whisperer. I don't think there's going to be much fall off. And this is coming from Go Hogs. There's an Arkansas man. They love them some Petrino down there. So, yeah, I mean, credit. And that's another thing I wanted to say. We live in this era. I realize Max Johnson's already transferred once. But when Connor Weigman named the starting quarterback, he didn't quit. He didn't enter the portal. He didn't complain. He just got ready. And he's played a lot this season. So maybe that's what they told him. Hey, you're going to play. But credit A&M's coaching staff for keeping him engaged, keeping him ready to go. I mean, there's been no drop-off. And especially credit Max Johnson, who I realize his brother's on the team and everything, so he probably didn't want to leave his brother. But so many guys in this day and age would have left, would have made an excuse to get some kind of waiver, graduate early. So credit Max Johnson for sticking it out. Blake wants to know, how does Connor's injury affect your view on the A&M Arkansas game? A little, but I think this was always going to be the Max Johnson game. Because I don't think Connor, I know Jimbo said day to day, but I don't know. This injury to me says more about A&M's outlook for the entire season than it does this Arkansas game. But I could be wrong. I mean, I already thought this A&M Arkansas, I thought it was a coin toss. Now Arkansas knows which quarterback they're going to have to prepare for. But I don't know how much of an advantage that really is because Max Johnson and Connor Weigman, not that they're the same player, but similar styles. It'd be one thing if it was KJ and Connor Weigman, and I mean, they're so diverse. You see what I'm saying? So Max Johnson and Connor Weigman, not a huge difference between their skill set. Different players, obviously, but so I don't think it changes the outlook quite yet, and I haven't even revealed who I'm going with in that one, so just stay tuned for that. How about Go Hawks says Rocket was in full pads yesterday. Don't know if that's going to make a big difference. If we can clean up the penalties, we can win. If not, Arkansas beats Arkansas. Yeah, I'd love to see Rocket Sanders get on the field. He could be such a difference maker for this Arkansas offense. Jimmy, we're already getting Tennessee, South Carolina. We can't avoid it this week. Tennessee, South Carolina. Do you think Tennessee can beat South Carolina throwing the ball? Because I think South Carolina will stop Joe from running. Yes, I think Tennessee can beat South Carolina passing. Because Mississippi State, which has not been able to pass all season, just had 487 passing yards on the road at South Carolina, not at home. So I certainly think they can do that. Any A&M, I'm trying to, just a reaction to Connor Weigman. I hate it for him. It's tough. I mean, I legitimately thought he could be in the Heisman conversation if they surprised people, if they won the West. So this is a tough blow. But A&M's got so many weapons around Max Johnson. And again, I'm not trying to discredit Max Johnson, very good player. But they've got so many weapons around him. That makes his job so much easier. Max Johnson doesn't have to carry this Texas A&M offense. Jimmy says, but I think he's talking about Mississippi State. They have a great quarterback. Tennessee doesn't. Mississippi State fans have been called for Will Rogers to be benched and Mike Wright to start. So I think you are not following too closely if you think everybody's thinking Will Rogers is a great quarterback. Very productive, but I don't know about great. Williams says, great, sad situation, but glad they have some depth. Yeah, and I think that's the critical point here for A&M. They've had the depth. This could be for, I mean, I don't want to throw out names because I hate projecting injuries and stuff, but for a lot of SEC teams, this would be a crippling blow. Season hopes would basically be down the drain if you lost your starting quarterback for the rest of the season. That is absolutely not the case for Texas A&M. That's a credit to Jimbo and Bobby Petrino and the entire staff, and of course Max Johnson more than anybody. Okay, short one here. I think any other reactions here? I'm trying to think. I'm just fired up for this Saturday. And again, we're going to have David Nuno on the show on the next episode, full episode on Thursday. When that comes out, get more reaction to this Connor Weigman news and all that goes into that. So stay tuned for that. And that's going to be it for this short little emergency reaction. Just wanted to get something out there after the news that Connor Weigman is out for the season.